All right. Welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. I'm your host, DJ Impact, and I got all of the bad boys here with me. It's great to see you guys. We want to let everybody know that you can join us on our live stream here just by going on to the live video comments and type in anything you want to say. And as we can, we will try to drop the line in there and respond to that as well. If you're not on our live chat, we thank everyone for listening to us on our podcast, which we are on pretty much every podcast there is. Just make sure you do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. That's what keeps us going. All right. It is wrestling talk. We got a lot of wrestling to get to. And we're going to be starting off, of course, with AEW's Full Gear. But before I can do that, I got to tell you guys, it's just been a extremely hectic week for Simon Street, Matt Michaels, and myself. And we were unable to watch the pay-per-views, but we wanted to fill in our three-man booth with a known and trusted voice. He might be familiar to you from a popular website or a weekly show, but today he makes his Vegas Bad Boys debut. Let's welcome Rex Caliber. Hey, Rex. Oh, he's coming out now. Hey, Rex, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Good. We're doing great, and we thank you for joining us because I want to hear. I know I've read the results, and I want to see if everything I read is really true. I can't accept everything that Sin City Steve talks about the show, so it is good to have you here so we can now have that other opinion. So let's jump right into it. AEW Full Gear, guys. What's your take on the show?
I thought that it was a solid show, top to bottom. I mean, you had everything kicking off from the pre-show match with Serena Deeb successfully defending her NWA Women's World Championship over Allison Kay. After the match, there was a little bit of an altercation involving Thunder Rosa. So, yeah, that's going to be a thing that goes on. As we see more and more of the NWA Championship on AEW TV, NWA Women's Championship, excuse me.
Yeah.
Do they have their own title, by the way?
You wouldn't guess it. You wouldn't guess it. But I mean, it is what it is, man. I really would like to see them working into a like a permanent working, not permanent, but a long-standing working relationship with the NWA. I think that both parties could benefit from having presence on each other's programming, especially once everything gets back up and running, in the NWA as well. Speaking of working relationships, I don't know if there's more to this, but the opening match on the actual pay-per-view was Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega in the finals of the World Title Eliminator Tournament. Okay. Now, why I say working relationships is it just so happened that Impact Wrestling executive Don Callis joined the rest of the commentators at the commentary table.
Right.
So that was definitely something that kind of jumped off the page. And something that we're not really used to seeing members of, Impact Wrestling on AEW TV.
Right.
And as we had discussed numerous times on this show, this tournament was exactly a vehicle to propel Kenny Omega into his heel turn and give him his title shot up against Jon Moxley. So that'll definitely be interesting. Another thing that really stood out to me was the fact that Cody Rhodes got his damn name back.
Yes.
And
Let's
so
applaud
it was, oh dude, it was awesome.
Yes.
It was Cody Rhodes defending his TNT championship against Darby Allin. And there was a title change. So Darby Allin is your new TNT champion.
For 3
kind of a
weeks.
contrived way to get there, in my opinion. But I think that it makes more sense having Darby Allin beat Cody than it did for him to beat Brody Lee.
So it's
So
gonna be 3 more weeks until he drops the belt back to Cody, right?
of course. I mean that's obviously what TNT wants. So yeah.
Or
I
it
mean,
could further the storyline of Darby versus Team Taz.
yes. Yeah, and especially with what happened after that match. I mean, you had Cody playing the babyface when we had discussed on this show how it seemed that Cody was starting to embody some heel tendencies and things of that nature. So, being the sportsman, handing Darby the championship after the match, and there was a distraction promo by Taz, leading to Team Taz leaving the baby faces lying in a heap. So more to come with that.
Well, shout out to Darby then,
Yeah, most definitely.
I mean,
A well-deserved victory for him, honestly. This is like his second comeuppance. He's been getting shit week after week ever since he came back, and pretty much ever since he was with AEW. And I'm really liking seeing what Darby Allin can prove, and he honestly well deserved this.
Now, to
Agreed.
make Darby really, but I would say that next big star, wouldn't it make sense then to allow him to hold on to this belt and not go right back to Cody 2 or 3 weeks
Do you
later?
think it would have made more sense if Brody would have had the goddamn fucking belt more than fucking 2 weeks?
But I mean, Darby is there. He's AEW though, not Brody. So why not build up their star to become what they're trying to get to?
Well, I'm talking about Brody King. Or
Oh
Brody
my
Lee. I'm sorry.
I was about to say Brody King. I know he was on AEW.
DJ all of a
Wrong
sudden
promotion
said that
right
Brody's
there.
in
Oh,
a
geez.
different fucking company.
Yeah. I got you. Well, I will say this. I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch pay-per-view, unfortunately, but I was happy to hear when I saw the results, the victory. It's definitely, I think, going to put more eyes, on the TNT title. We'll see what happens, because I think we all know it's probably going to go back to Cody Rhodes, probably sooner than later.
Yeah.
Well, I think Rex Caliber hit on it, that it's going to set up that feud with Team Taz, and ultimately, I don't think it needs to go back to Cody, but you got Ricky Starks, Stroke Daddy, right there, waiting in the wing. So after a little bit of time going back and forth, then he gets that title. That guy is money.
Lucky, I have to disagree with you about Ricky Starks. It's not going to be on Ricky Starks. Granted, it might go to Ricky Starks someday, but the main focus of what they're focusing on for Team Taz is getting that TNT title onto Brian Cage. That's what they're focusing on, because he's built like a machine. He's all this big, strong guy, and you know how it is. I'm sorry, I have to disagree on that.
Well, listen, Brian Cage should have the heavyweight title, without question.
What
But
the fuck are you talking about?
He has to take a detour to the TNT title, whatever.
Is your asshole growing teeth because you're talking out of it?
Hey,
Title belongs on
calling it
Brian.
how it is, baby. Calling it how it is.
Brian Cage
Taz.
prints money, right?
Huh?
Brian Cage prints money for you, right?
Brian Cage looks like $1 million. No reason why he shouldn't have that world title already.
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Hey, you know what? Christmas is coming up, man. You put that on your list to Santa. That'll work.
Shit. Anyway, definitely a great match. I thought that this was definitely needed for Darby and was the logical step. So, believe it or not, AEW actually had their women's world championship match on their pay-per-view, shockingly enough. Although you wouldn't have guessed it. I mean, it was a passable match. Sheeta defeating Nyla Rose. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
These two definitely tried their best, and you can actually tell that they did try their best. It's very lackluster. It was the crowd wasn't ready for it, and we all thought that Nyla could get it because she's the one that brought in Vicky Guerrero, and we all thought, but they did pull a turn on us on having Sheeta keep that title on it. But honestly, the whole match was very lackluster. They did try their best. I'll give them kudos for that, but it's still not passable for a great match.
Listen,
How long does Nyla Rose last? Because they've got nothing else that
They don't.
If they don't see anything else in Nyla, I could see her not surviving within the end of this year, especially with her with Vicky Guerrero. Like it was working at once, and then all of a sudden they pulled this on us. And if it's not going to be working at the end of this year, I don't see Nyla gaining another title.
Well, listen, the better women's match of the night was Allison Kay and Serena Deeb by far.
Oh yeah.
So anything else wasn't going to stack up. And hopefully Allison Kay has done enough because she announced her free agency this week to get a contract.
Yep.
So hopefully they do not let her hit the market. They brought her in on the show and they hire her, right? But Nyla Rose, this thing that they teased at the end with her and Vicky Guerrero, the pairing was working perfectly.
I agree.
Why fuck with the sauce, baby? You don't need to.
It's stupid. It made absolutely no sense, but we'll see where they go from here. I don't think that there's going to be an outright split right away with them. I think that it's just kind of sowing the seeds for the future, which I genuinely hope that they don't pull the trigger. So, all right, guys. Next, we had, in my opinion, the best match of the night, the AEW Tag Team Championship. On the line as FTR put the titles up for grabs against the Young Bucks. And gentlemen, if you had any question about tag team wrestling and, providing in-ring psychology, storytelling, yes, they can do that. They also had a ton of high spots, and this match was everything that we thought that it could be. It just sucks that the build to this match was absolute dog shit. And I think that everybody, even the most hardcore of AEW maximalists, would say the exact same thing. The build to this match was subpar. And it just sucks that, fuck it, I'll go ahead and say it. AEW's match of the year. This is the best match that has been in AEW in 2020. And
because I've heard other things on it.
Yeah, I don't know, and I'll let Steve, keep going, but I'll tell you the first half of that match was as clunky as can be. The injury, Matt was kind of moving around real fun, and we already knew he was injured.
Yeah, he was injured coming into the match.
Yeah, but then you had the hand injury to Dash, I want to say, and then things just seemed like it was so off during the first part of the match. So, like, when I saw it, I was like, the first part of the match was bad, the bill was bad, but then they ultimately were able to repair it, and the match turned out really good at the end of it.
I recall myself asking last week or so, I thought I was saying, I don't see why Young Bucks, why they just don't become champions. I know that they don't necessarily need it, but why not? Why not do that? And I thought, and I could be wrong, maybe it was Sin City, but I thought it was Matt Michaels that went and just straight up and said, no, it doesn't make sense. Why? And the question I'm asking now is, does it now make sense to see why they are champions? Tag team champions.
Wait, who?
It could
The
be for
Bucks.
anyone, for Bucks. But the question could go either for you or even Sin City. But I think it was you that said it didn't. No, it wouldn't make sense for them to do that when I brought that up.
To put the belts on the Bucks?
Yes.
Yeah, it's ridiculously stupid. You just
Yeah.
put the belts on FTR to fucking make them your legitimate tag champs, and then you have them take the belts right fucking off of them. I'm sorry, Lucky would put the belt on Brian Cage, but that's a whole nother story.
No, but I agree with you on this one. Don't get me wrong. I do agree with you on this one that they didn't need to. I mean, they kind of booked themselves in a corner with the stipulation, right? But they didn't necessarily need to have those titles.
Well, I don't know. I'm just confused because the Young Bucks, from my understanding, it's not like I followed their career, but my introduction to them that they're just one of the best tag teams. Okay, and I've seen them perform at the last Double or Nothing show that happened, and live, and it's true. It's great to see them. So now, as they get the show going, it's like I don't see much out of them, which is fine because I guess they're taking an executive role, but it still don't make sense to be known as the best and still not getting the representation of being the best on your show. You don't always have to be at the top, but why never get to that point is what I'm saying.
Ask Roddy Piper. Well, it's kind of hard to do right now. But see,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
That's the thing. Think of it this way. If you're going to yell and rant and scream about how a belt is not a prop, then don't fucking use it as a prop. Put some value to the belt. That's the problem. And I'll tell you who fucking started that shit, and that was Eric Bischoff. Because he fucking broke the whole idea of championships meaning something.
Mm-hmm.
Because in his booking, they didn't. The guys he had booking, shit, that belt, when the finger poke of doom happened, when Arquette happened,
Russo.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at, back to your question, why, for one, they had spent the better part of this last year, establishing all the other talent. So I didn't think it was still necessary for them to get the championships. Let everyone else shine. Everybody already knows you're the executives or whatever. They were trying to get everybody else established. So they put over some people in that process. But yeah, I mean, it's fine that they won the titles, but they didn't really need to.
And another thing about the Bucks is that match was good, but in my personal opinion, I think Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega's match, that was a better match in my opinion, because to me, the Young Bucks, every match they've had and throughout their pay-per-views, it's been like way too long, and they always say it's the best match tonight. Why not the other matches like Hangman Page and Kenny Omega? They had a legitimate great match. I thoroughly enjoyed that match. And I would put Kenny Omega versus Hangman over Young Bucks versus FTR. That's just my opinion. Second thing about that match is the ending of it was a little bit lackluster for me, because you have Nick or Matt Jackson kicking FTR with the super kick on the bad leg, and then they scored the pinfall. I don't know. That ending seemed lackluster to me. I was expecting a little bit more, maybe a Meltzer driver from them or something else. I didn't expect like one super kick and then a 1, 2, 3 count.
Yeah. I mean, that's, it's odd to say the least. I mean, that you would put the belts on the Bucks, especially knowing that Matt has an injury. It's like,
right. That was the thing that really kind of stood out to me. And
yeah.
that I don't agree with the booking decision for them to go over in the match without question. I can't agree with it.
But FTR is your best team, and then you make him lose the title a pay-per-view after.
Yeah. I think that's definitely, short-sighted, almost, I don't want to say WWE style booking, but it reeks of something that would easily happen on the WWE main roster. And I give them shit all the time about it. So obviously I have to give AEW shit about this.
Not only that, but you could have gave FTR a pretty good, run, maybe till Revolution at the in February of next year, and then have somebody else, one of the tag teams. I don't care who you make it, but have that tag team go over on FTR, so that way that builds their stock.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Have another bona fide tag team in that mix.
No, I agree with the King 100%. Because I was gonna ask the question to you guys. Do you think that, for the most part, I mean, we're talking about the Bucks and we're talking about FTR. Is it because they haven't put enough stock in the other tag teams in the division to where it's a believable conversation of what happens next, that they had to go with this?
Well, you also have guys like Best Friends that they, I guess you could say, somewhat got a good push because they beat Santana and Ortiz not too long ago in the parking lot brawl. Yep. They had a good rivalry. So I say another best tag team that's going to be challenging the Young Bucks is most likely Best Friends or maybe another team, again, and also be on the lookout for a Private Party too, because they're being pushed by Matt Hardy.
Wait. I thought they got drafted over to SmackDown.
I think Private Party's a more viable challenger than the Best Friends are. I mean,
I think so too.
I think so.
Either or those two. I wouldn't be surprised if you see one of those two teams be challenging the Young Bucks for the titles.
Yeah.
And I do not expect any of them to win those titles. I'm expecting the Young Bucks to hold those titles for a very long time. And that's as bad as it sounds. I'm saying this.
Depending on what happens with Matt. I mean,
yeah.
I read somewhere, and you never know what is true or not.
Where did you read this, Lucky?
He's taped up for like 7 or 8 matches, or this was his 7th match or something last, on the pay-per-view that he was taped up for. So, how long is he going to hold up? Are you going to have a situation where instead of wrestling on that they relinquish the titles? So
exclusively from Roger.com.
Exactly.
Lifetime subscription he has.
Yeah. And so speaking of Matt Hardy, up next was the Ultimate Deletion, Matt Hardy versus Samu Guevara in a cinematic match that would have been, it would have been right at home in the Impact version of the Broken Universe. I have to distinguish between the WWE version and the
that's the Wish version.
What's that?
That's the Wish version of a cinematic match. WWE.com, WWEshop.com, or Wish.
Shit. So now the thing that really was the high point of this match was actually not necessarily the match itself, but the cameos in the match. Yeah. And that's when you know that there were several missteps in this match. But seeing Hurricane Helms and Gangrel again is always great, and it got the nostalgia pop out of me. Matt Hardy did defeat Sammy Guevara, and it was way too long. It was drawn out. Unsafe. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't feeling for that match either. Matt Hardy, 2 steel chair shots to the head of Sammy Guevara. Honestly, that's not needed. That's not necessary. You don't need to risk anything. We've already heard about concussions. We've seen all the Dark Side of the Ring episodes about concussions, and to me, that's not needed. Plus, Sammy is way too young for that, and he doesn't need to do that. If this is some sort of punishment, then shame on AEW and Matt Hardy for agreeing to that. That was simply not needed.
I don't know if it was a punishment. I do agree with you guys that he shouldn't take those chair shots. One, because Matt Hardy's at the end of his career. Sammy is, for all intents and purposes, maybe in his prime or just kind of like the early on, if you will. And so, yeah. Well, he's been around for a while too. But the thing is that
you're 24.
hey, right now he's in a good spot.
If his prime was 24, then at your age, you should be in the retirement by now, man.
He's going through the Hall of Fame.
Hey, listen, but what I'm trying to say is that he has more days ahead of him than, you know what I'm saying, than Matt Hardy does. So there's no need for those kind of spots. You can still have this kind of, cinematic match and do all these crazy spots with fireworks and stuff like that, but you didn't need the chair shot.
You also did not need a monster truck.
Right.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, that spot off the tire was amazing.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
When he climbed up there and he hit it in one spot too. So
let me just remind all of our listeners and shout out to Ringsiders and Garth that's in the live video comments.
What's up, Big Garth?
That's right. That's right. You want to throw a comment in there, go ahead and do that, and we will try to shout it out as we normally do. Again, we're happy to have Rex with us here. It's great to have you on, and from a possible popular website or a weekly show. We're just happy to have you, Mr. Caliber, here.
Thank you for having me here, guys.
All right. What other things happen on the great old AEW?
Chris Jericho versus MJF.
Oh,
yes, in a match that was determined by who could out heel the other.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, quite literally, that's how the match kind of ended. I mean, there was the spot right at the end of the match where ref bump, and then MJF motions to Wardlow. Wardlow hands him the Dynamite Diamond ring. Jericho at the same time gets Floyd his baseball bat, and MJF took a page right out of Eddie Guerrero's book. And I know that was recently done on WWE TV as well, so you can say that they lifted that right from WWE, implying that obviously Jericho popped him with the baseball bat. That led to an argument between Chris Jericho and Aubrey Edwards, and MJF scored the pin with the roll-up. So now MJF is in the inner circle.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what? It was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though we had just seen it recently, on WWE product, like you mentioned. I was perfectly okay with the way he set it up, dropped down. You know what I mean? It was great. I loved it.
Definitely. And then last but not least, gentlemen, the I Quit match for the AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston. These guys just beat the absolute shit out of each other. I mean, you had spots with thumbtacks, quite a few spots with thumbtacks. Then you had probably one of the most unsettling spots that I've had in wrestling in a while. And that involved Eddie Kingston, complete in his Create a Wrestler number 34 gear, grabbing a bottle of rubbing alcohol and pouring on the back of Jon Moxley.
Ugh.
After taking the bumps and the thumbtacks and having the dozens and dozens of pinholes popped in.
That'll wake you up.
Oh my God. Obviously stepping back from it and thinking about things, it's clearly just water, but there's still the illusion that it's fucking rubbing alcohol. So that was definitely cringeworthy to say the least at the time. But yeah, it was, both guys brought in the weapons. It ended up coming down to Kingston being tapped out when Moxley locked in the bulldog choke, but this time using some strands of barbed wire to wrap around Kingston's neck.
Wow.
It fucking violence, absolute fucking violence in this match.
It turned into an ECW pay-per-view at the end there.
Bro, I was waiting for the light tubes and all sorts of crazy shit. I thought we were going to get a CZW type match.
So Eddie Kingston, I think at some point he should be a world champion.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm just what my fear is that now losing this match, he's going to go all the way down to the bottom.
No.
Unfortunately,
No.
yes.
No.
I think
Come on,
so.
I'm just.
I think so.
Nope.
I don't think so. I mean, he could talk
Okay.
on the mic. I mean,
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
doesn't-
just saving grace.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You don't think
the
that
other
doesn't
thing,
matter?
the other thing that's key is yes, he did tap out, but it wasn't just with a bulldog choke. It was also while Moxley was using barbed wire. So that felt like a little bit of a safe finisher in terms of his booking.
Yeah, but his
because
booking
it required that in order to beat him.
the problem is that he's not a wrestler amongst the style that AEW fans want wrestlers, right? So now you have a guy where how do you make him champion when every match has to be a hardcore match? And you've already got Moxley, who is doing a pretty good job of doing that right now.
Yeah, I mean, and they definitely went down certain avenues, and I think that as the post-match events occurred, and they are already foreshadowing the Kenny Omega John Moxley match. I think it's pretty safe to say that while they did have their unsanctioned lights out match, right when AEW began, I don't think that this feud is going to be that hardcore of a blood feud where they're going to use a ton of weapons and do all that kind of stuff. I think that it's going to be a more quote unquote civilized kind of a match, at least compared to this one, to say the very least. But I think that this was kind of the, I hate to say like the last gasp of a hardcore division, because that's not it. But realistically, I don't think we're going to see as hardcore of events at least in the next couple of months.
Let me ask you guys something, and this is post match, right? Match is over, and on the whole nine. First of all, you just mentioned it about Eddie Kingston's gear, right?
Go Power Ranger.
You look like the Power Ranger. He looked like your uncle at the barbecue dressed as the Power Ranger, right?
Bro, I'm telling you, he looked like Creator Wrestler number 14.
Yeah. Then Kenny Omega comes out and just like some regular gray shorts for a call out. And I mean, if this was, if we're comparing, AEW with WWE, right? I don't think you would have seen something like that. It just seemed like an unfinished product at the end. And what I would have hoped for is Omega to join Mox in the ring. And let's get a proper stare down. That didn't happen. So it left the pay-per-view kind of like, it was a little high and dry at the end. Anybody else have that takeaway, or is it just me?
No, it's just you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are other people, but of course
it's just you and your,
you guys like to make the king out to be something that he's not. And there's other people that are going to tune in and
what,
say,
a WWE fanboy?
The king is correct.
Shit. Thank you. That's the best you've sounded all night.
Yeah. And I'm back. All right. That was AEW, right?
That was AEW Full Gear.
Rex Caliber, let me ask you, man. We definitely appreciate you being on. Is there anything else you want to add about the pay-per-view before you take off to do some sort of weekly show or weekly popular website?
Before I leave, let's backtrack. When the Young Bucks won the titles, did anyone notice Hangman Adam Page just lurking at that entrance?
Yes.
So we all know this is not over.
Nope.
Yep. And the Moxley and Kingston match was really good. I was really hopeful for a much longer match because the Young Bucks match was much longer than than the main event. I just wanted more, and I felt it felt a little lackluster at that whole match. They did their best, and they did. And with the thumbtacks and alcohol, I want to go for alcohol. If we're gonna go with CZW, I would go with either lemon juice or salt.
Yeah, salt would have been cringy.
Yeah, So yeah, that would have been much more cringy other than a rubbing alcohol. But I can understand that we all know it's not rubbing alcohol, it's water.
Right.
Mhm.
But yeah, overall the pay-per-view was excellent. Some matches were lackluster, some matches were up subpar, was really good. Another thing I also like to note is I know Lucky's gonna love this one, is the Dark Order. Be on the lookout for John Silver because he might put up a deal with Brody Lee so he can be the leader of the Dark Order. So we could be seeing a matchup or something like that in the near future. I can guarantee that.
I will say that Silver is very entertaining.
Definitely.
Right?
I mean, ripping the pockets out of Cassidy's
and if you watch BTE, like normally I'm not a fan of them having this mystique on the actual real show, like Dynamite, and then on BTE you see like this totally different flair from these guys. They kind of just, they're comical and stuff like that. But you know what? Silver is a really funny guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if ultimately they take him out of the Dark Order just because he doesn't, like in the pay-per-view, he was flexing and all this stuff. He just doesn't fit with them now. He's kind of outgrown the Dark Order in some degree.
Well, again, I'm not saying that he will be the new leader of the Dark Order. Like we could like have a stipulation where if either man loses, they're kicked out of the Dark Order, when there's a winner, they're the new leader of the Dark Order. That's what I was thinking. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
Yeah, and obviously we did gloss over the fact Orange Cassidy versus John Silver. Cassidy did pick up the victory in that match as well in the pay-per-view.
I didn't think we need to talk about Orange Cassidy doing bathroom break matches.
Basically.
So wait, they got a show on BET?
Did I say BTE? I said BTE. Each time.
He did see. No, he said BET. See, now you got me saying BET.
Well, no, he doesn't have a show on BET. But I think if he did, it'd be pretty funny.
Wait. So wait, then what are you saying you said?
BTE.
BET.
BTE.
BET.
Being the elite. Fuck it. Being the elite.
I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic, man. So
that's all right. The gummies have probably kicked in.
Yeah.
Does that fix dyslexia?
No.
It heightens it, actually.
Rex Caliber, thank you so much, man. We're going to have you on to get some more of that great analysis on other AEW pay-per-views, especially the ones that the rest of us choose to ignore.
Tell me what's a tope
choose to ignore. Well, at least you finally say it, Impact.
Impact, speak for yourself. I was upset. No, I was upset Saturday night because I could not even get a chance or be in a spot to watch a pay-per-view. So,
that was a joke, Sin City, but you got it.
Really
No, it went past everybody else's head, but okay. Rex, thanks, man.
All right, and I will give you a tope suicida.
There you go.
All right, y'all. That was Rex Caliber. He will be on next time in the future. So with that, let's keep going. WWE Raw. Let's get that going. I guess King Lucky, that's your time, man. What the hell was going on on Raw this past week?
Hey, come here. Let me talk to you. Whoever's watching from WWE.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't want a big check. Just give us some free tickets. That's all we're asking for, baby. And maybe we'll let one of these guys go on the creative team, okay? But listen, imagine us calling a pole match last week and it actually happened.
And it did.
Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, just say, hey, you know what? Just give us the props that you guys like the show, okay? But as we mentioned, last week we talked about it, how Bianca might possibly win for Team SmackDown. And I think we saw them crack the door open with this Lana thing. She's going to be the cause for the Raw team's implosion.
By the way, let me go ahead and now I'm apologize. This is something that most guys can't do. Most people can't apologize. All they do is they double down on their ignorance. Okay.
Double time.
Okay.
All right.
Matt Michaels, I apologize. After I've seen now what's happening with Lana, yeah, it's a punishment. Seriously, I every time I think no, that can't be the case, I'm going, dang, she's getting beat up.
I'm telling you right now, dude, that the payoff of this is going to be, the push of her. If not, then I'm well entertained by seeing her go through a table every single fucking day.
And they're starting to count it now. They count it.
Gotta feel the bang.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way. Goldberg's streak was what, like 181 wins?
Yeah.
So if you could go through like 190 tables, I would be totally satisfied.
Perfect.
Oh man. You know what? And I mean, I think she's gonna cause the team to. You saw it. She caused the tag team titles for friends to lose their opportunity there. So it is just a hot mess for that team, and she's gonna cause so much discord there, and it's gonna be bad. But dude, let me tell you, moving over to somebody that ain't bad.
Okay.
Alexa Bliss. Man.
Oh, she's bad.
Yeah, she bad.
She's
bad.
bad.
She's bad.
Tongue bad. She tongue bad.
Not only that, but I mean, she continues every week to be more and more convincing in her role. And you're drawn into her. Like she's pulling you in more and more. And
Facts.
me, in my opinion, this might be the best thing that she's ever done in WWE. And that's NXT included. I mean, this is just phenomenal. So yeah, this is good stuff with her and the Fiend.
Yeah.
Finally, got to see Ricochet. Jeez, some of you guys remember him, right?
Who?
I remember him.
Who?
You remember?
Isn't he
Ricochet the Scourge.
He leads the Retribution, right?
No. He's that Irish wrestler, right? Ricochet.
Rick O'Shea. That's a good one.
Rick
Oh,
O'Shea.
okay.
He got his derby on again.
Yeah.
Hey, he finally listen. Come closer. He finally won a match on the Monday Night Raw.
Holy shit.
Whatever program Lana's on, Ricochet was the first one to be on that program. He went from having like his story on the network, having them follow him around, having the title, the whole nine, to just being buried, and finally came back. He got a win. So let's see what happens. But after the match, Retribution, if they can't beat the Hurt Business, they'll beat Ricochet.
You know what? Hey, King Lucky, I just wanted to find out and see if this theory that we all have that WWE actually does watch the show.
Yeah.
I had a thought Monday when I was watching Retribution. I was like, it's a little lame. And I was like, you know what the problem I thought with Retribution is what if instead of them rough shopping through everything, what if they made themselves like a virus? Like their truth that they carry is starting to spread to other people to where they don't trust the Raw brand. I'm just saying. I know you got to mute me.
Yeah.
Right on cue.
It has to be a lot better than what they're doing now because I'm bored.
Hey, you know what's interesting? And I know we just, forgive me, we just talked about Full Gear, right? But they slipped a little nugget in there on us. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about it real quick in the middle of this Raw talk. But the Spanish announcer, they gave him some of the drink during the buy-in, and I want to see where that's going. Sorry. Back to Raw. Okay.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Well, they gave him some of the Dark Order potion, whatever it was. It was purple.
The
Yeah.
What the
You have to
fuck?
watch-
You had to
you have to
stop and talk about some goddamn potion that
Yes,
they
that's, a hit
That's
like
that
a-
dirty
hit
hole
like a
juice. That's what it's
Powerade.
called. Dirty hole
It's
juice.
fucking scissor. Move
Yeah.
on.
It's some scissor. You got that perp, Dark Order perp.
There you go.
But anyway, yeah. But lastly,
And
and
you
not
just
lastly,
said, I'm interested to see where it goes.
yeah. Listen, well, let me tell you why. Because I think this could be something that they start doing over and over again. Even though the whole Dark Order gimmick is about as popular as Retribution, right? They at least have some credible pieces that they are playing with there. So,
Welcome to Smarksville. Welcome
that's
to
right. Welcome
Smarksville. Welcome,
to the kingdom,
welcome.
baby. Hey, listen. Lastly, I'm really enjoying Drew being the hunter and not the hunted. Dude is kind of. I feel like with him without the title now, chasing Randy is a whole lot better for his character at this moment. And he's been doing different things to Randy, coming out of nowhere, Claymore and stuff like that.
I don't see a difference.
You don't?
No.
And you
I
like
think
him?
I do like him. I think he's just as good when he had the belt than when he don't have the belt. I don't think he's better without it.
Man, it's a good thing then, for him.
Right. There you go. But I do see something different. I see a little something different with him. And either way, I enjoy Drew. But I'm just saying that now he doesn't have the title. I do see kind of a difference there. It's more like a chip on his shoulder, so. But yeah, that was Raw.
Okay. And you like how the teams are coming together?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
you
far,
got
so good.
AJ, Sheamus, Keith Lee, and Braun now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so far so good. They
Like-
did the
For you, like going over every single match, every single time, you just skip over like one of the best bits of work with AJ fucking dropping to his knees at the end of that match.
And they just all
Right.
get along.
Yeah.
But I think that's the tidbit for that. If they can just all get along, I mean, SmackDown better beware because that's a big size team
that's
of rough house shit.
Yeah. Without question.
Rough
Yeah.
house shit.
Rough house shit.
All right. Well, then, thank you, King Lucky. We'll jump a little bit over Impact Wrestling. Of course, we are trying to figure out who hurt, because they didn't kill, Johnny Bravo. He is in intensive care, I believe, in a induced coma.
So wait.
Does he have a ventilator in his mouth?
Hold on. They actually took up a bed in a hospital unit while all this pandemic is going on and the
Absolutely.
numbers are right. Yeah.
Yep. And they actually said that let's just keep him in our prayers that he comes through.
Wow.
So what happens if we don't pray for him? Will he die?
I don't know.
I don't know. Hey, you know what, Michaels? If anything has shown us, there's a lot of people that's dying that I have prayed for to pull through. So I don't know if it matters.
Well, the good news is that Tommy Dreamer is going to be the one to find the person who did it. So that's his new role right now.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. No
That's
hardcore
Tommy
matches. He's just going to go through and he's going to find the person. So they narrowed it down to 10. And we're going to find out who did it. Okay. There was a Knockouts Championship match with Deonna Purrazzo and Su Yung. And Su Yung retained after she disqualified herself by using a chair. She didn't throw the chair in there, but a chair got in the ring by Deanna's sidekick, Kimberly. And hey, why not? It's there. So Su Yung used it. So they're going to end up fighting. I guess there's an event coming this weekend called Turning Point. So some sort of a maybe small pay-per-view, but there will be a match now for the Knockout Championship, and it'll be a no DQ. So we'll see what happens there. Heath won that match, and he's now was granted his full contract that he wanted. All the things that was just ridiculous for, the fact that he's not as big of a star as he believe he is, he asked for a whole lot of things in his contract, and Scott D'Amore laughed at him, but say, hey, if you won this whole thing back at Bound for Glory, we'll honor it. So of course, what did Heath do? He get himself hurt. Okay. So now they're at the table, and Heath is ready to sign his contract, but Scott is saying, you know what? You're going to sign this contract, but when you get better. So, right now Heath is still without a contract. Has hurt. I love it. Hey, one cool little fun segment that was Madison Rain, right? So she has her locker room talk. In the locker room talk, she had Jordan Grace and Tennille there. And, they were saying, hey, it would be great for you two, being that, they have this women's tag team championship starting up in about a couple of weeks. But they're like, it'd be kind of cool if maybe you two get together. Madison Rain was talking, and Jordan was like, well, I don't see why not. I mean, Tennille seemed like she all right, so let's do this, Tennille goes, you know what? Yeah, I actually would like to tag team with the 2-time knockout woman champion, Madison Rain. So, while Jordan Grayson up there going, wait, it's supposed to be me and you, Tennille throws in Madison. And guess what? It's going to be Tennille and Madison.
So are you like, when you watch Impact?
Yes.
Are you purposely writing down things so you know how to do your Cosby delivery perfectly?
Is that Cosby?
Oh, you got the delivery.
Oh,
delivery.
The puff of the Jello pudding puff.
Oh my God!
It was Madison Rain.
I was waiting for him to break out a hoagie.
Oh my God!
As long as he ain't serving us drinks, that's all I got.
Oh man!
Thanks.
Oh Lord! All right. Well, hey, the last big thing, Rohit. He is still our X Divisional champion, and TJP wants to fight on one more time. And Scott D'Amore said, "Okay, you can." Rohit is tired of fighting TJP, okay, because he feels he always beat him. And TJP is saying, "Look, if I lose this time, then I just don't fight for it again." And Scott D'Amore says, deal. So again, at this upcoming show Saturday, Turning Point. No, actually, that's not even Turning Point. I'm sorry. That's actually next week's televised show. It's going to be a X Divisional Championship. Well, if Rohit wins, of course, he keeps his title, but DJP no longer can fight for that title as long as Rohit has it. So that's going to be pretty interesting, because I'm almost it might be one of those things where he keeps it for a while, and every last other of these X Divisional competitors come up with the same concept. And then what are you going to do when you have TJP can't no longer, and let's say Chris Bay can't no longer, and you just go down the line and who he will have. So
well,
I don't know.
I'll tell you exactly who they got.
Who?
Madison Rain.
And it could be that. So anyway, that was Impact Wrestling. It does what it does, and it's enjoyable. And there was what's his name showed up, Moose. Moose was looking real GQ. I thought he was going to join the Hurt Business. I was like,
Once his
man.
contract's up.
If we could swap him for Bobby Lashley,
But I will say this, in his whole promo, again, he is just selling the idea that the TNA belt is the #1 title, and the Impact Wrestling is #2. So I just find that it's pretty interesting how they are continuing to go down that line and pushing it even more, to a point where the way, Moose looks like a champion if you compare that to, oh boy, who's their champion?
Rich Swann.
Rich Swann.
Rich Swann.
Rich Swann, yes. I'm sorry. Which one? When you compare, Moose looks like, that he plays the role as that real champion. So the whole gimmick just really comes off like, I don't know, maybe this TNA is the real deal versus the Impact World title.
So, did you realize that they're basically fucking themselves by making a non-existent title more meaningful than the title? And if you're saying that through your eyes, that means other fans are definitely seeing it the same way, man.
But that's how they've been playing this whole thing from the beginning. And the whole gimmick with EC3, which apparently I just read is no longer with Impact Wrestling, which is just confusing within itself. It's like, wow, the way, and if you saw this promo, it's like, dude, they're really going all in on this TNA title. Like, I don't know. I mean, they're selling it really well. Like, and what you're saying is correct. I mean, what does that mean for the Impact? I mean, they're not downplaying Rich Swann in any way, but when you compare, if you were to put them side by side, you would clearly go, Moose is your real champion. You know what I mean? Kind of. Anyways. But anyway, that was Impact Wrestling, y'all. Let's jump over.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? That's another Bill Huxtable. You know what I mean?
I'll take on the role as Bill Cosby, I guess, but not in jail.
Really? Drinks are on you.
I guess so. Let's jump over into WWE NXT. I guess Matt Michaels, why don't you go ahead and handle that?
Me SmackDown the whole time.
Yeah. Why are you switching it?
Don't go to Simon.
Listen, he had one of his own drinks. Mr. Huxtable had one of his own.
Yes, he is. He might pass out pretty soon.
So, over to you,
violate
himself.
He might violate himself after he have one of his own drinks.
Yeah.
All right, Simon Street, go ahead and take NXT.
All right, guys. So yeah, NXT this Wednesday was really good. It started off with NXT Women's Division action. Ember Moon, Dakota Kai, of course, with the great big one-woman army Amazon, Raquel Gonzalez. It was a really good match. I really enjoyed this match because it was a good opportunity because they were going with the storyline of what Ember Moon had said about Dakota Kai the last time she was in NXT. And she was just a scared little girl. And they've used that reference quite a few times, not just with Ember Moon, but just in NXT over the last, I guess, couple of weeks going into months. Dakota Kai actually looked really good in this match. I mean, obviously she came up with the win because of the distraction from Raquel Gonzalez, distracted Ember Moon. And she walked away with a victory. But like I said, very good showing for Dakota Kai. I think that NXT is kind of showing her as a main player in the women's division, and we'll definitely be seeing something from her more in the future than what you've shown previously, other than that one title opportunity. Going on next, because I have notes. I'm actually writing notes, guys. You're proud of me.
Wow.
In the next one that we had that was really good match was Cameron Grimes versus Kushida. That was very interesting. I was actually excited to see this, so to speak, because we all saw Cameron Grimes last week with the match with Dexter Lumis.
Wait a minute. Whoa. When you say his name, you got to say it right.
Cameron Grimes to the moon. Woo! Cameron Grimes. Woo! Okay, get my moonshine. All right. So pretty much Cameron Grimes was interesting because I want to see what they're going to do. And sure enough, the referee, the zombie referee, was pretty interesting. And so he's having flashbacks of that match with Dexter Lumis. Interesting match between him and Kushida. Obviously, in the end, because he's just having these flashbacks, Cameron Grimes just can't stay focused for a match at all. And, Kushida, ends up, putting that submission on Cameron Grimes, and Kushida walks away with the victory.
Yeah, but you got to give it that thunderous applause and handout to the fact that the only reason Grimes tapped is because when he turned his head up, he saw the ref.
The zombie referee.
Yeah, he was just trying to get the hell out of there. That was brilliant.
But
Brilliant.
you know what? I will say this. Oh, go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say the other funny thing on it too is to make sure the audience understands why he's doing that. The announcers literally had to say, "What? It's the zombie referee." It was like, I think that Cameron just conveying that would have, conveyed it. But now it's like, well, Cameron sees him as a real zombie now, but you guys refer to him as the zombie referee, but he's obviously not a zombie.
Yeah.
So then was that fake last week or were they actual zombies? What the fuck, guys? You just confused my stoned ass.
Yeah.
It was Halloween.
I could see your point because I thought it was odd that they had to jump in on it. It would have been better if Cameron Grimes made it more apparent, like, wow, it's the zombie. Yeah, I get you. I was going to say something that I think, if I wasn't mistaken, it might have been Michaels that was saying it in past, not like last week, but we were talking about Cameron Grimes. And I think we were getting on King Lucky because he just does not like Cameron Grimes. I think Michaels, it says like Cameron Grimes is actually not a one-trick pony. I mean, I think that's what it was a long time ago. I agree with you on that 100% because when I'm looking at him, he's somebody that I feel does not need a title. And maybe I'm bold by saying that. I feel like he does not need a title at this point. He is entertaining. I am interested in seeing him every week, whether it's just in-ring performance, which I feel is solid, but also too, I mean, he's entertaining. And I mean, but anyways, I don't want to get too much on him. The next match that happened was our favorite tag team couple, Drake Maverick, Killian Dane, as they went against Everrise. That was, again, interesting seeing the whole storyline with Drake Maverick, obviously just head over heels, believing in, the entrance music and everything. Killian Dane just wants to win. And it seems like he's on board as long as they're winning and they're kicking people's asses. And Drake Maverick can pop and all of a sudden get Mighty Mouse and whoop people's asses. Interesting enough, as they were actually doing their thing, we had not a new group, but at least now they've released what their name is. They have dubbed themselves the Kings of NXT. Pete Dunne, Pat McAfee, Danny Burch, Oney Lorcan. Interesting enough, they're letting McAfee do a lot of the mic talk, and I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. He was throwing shots all the way at Undisputed Era, and I like it. I like where it's going. The boys, even though you could say what you want, it was Drake Maverick, and that they mostly were beating the crap out of. They proved their point and it was good. So, as we look forward, we're going to see that develop more. And obviously they're going to go to war, most likely war games, I feel, in the future. McAfee was actually in the ring delivering his speech. It got kind of cut. The one thing that I found interesting was how they went further by having the Undisputed Era flag, per se, and how they were going to go and they were recognizing their accomplishments. Stuff like that, I'm sure not just myself, but other people find very interesting because to me, it's a just different way of smearing in the face. Because when you're going up against, the Undisputed Era, I feel like it has to be more than you just beating them in the ring. You have to beat them at the mic. You also have to beat them by doing, I call it low blow shenanigans like this. And it was really good to kind of see them, pull that out. Moving on for the next one, we have.
No, we don't have to talk about every goddamn match.
But Lucky did it. All right, can I just talk about one more? Just talk about one more, and y'all can take over the rest, please.
I'm not the only one falling asleep here, right?
It's okay. All right. So, anyways,
maybe you need to start talking like Bill Cosby.
I guess.
Gotta keep their interest.
I guess. All right. I'll try my best. In fact, I'll try my best.
You talk like Bill Cosby, and he puts him to sleep like Bill Cosby.
right. So
no notes anymore. No more notes.
well, hey, I tried to improve because y'all were giving me shit the other day. I was like, well, shit, let me get some notes. Let me do my job. Shit. All right. Well anyways, I won't talk too much about the other stuff. Y'all can jump in on. The one thing that I did like, because I don't usually like his segments, was Johnny Gargano. I'm usually not a big fan of Johnny Gargano, but I thought it was pretty cool. Johnny Gargano had a segment starting off saying, you know, Wheels love Johnny, everybody loves Johnny. I thought that was cool. You know, he had a special guest in his home while he was playing the game of life, and it was pretty much the killer from Scream. And I'm now sold on wanting to see more of these from Johnny Gargano. That's all that I have that I was excited with NXT. I felt that NXT, again, delivered a very solid show, as you guys say. And you guys can take it away before I put you to sleep, and we'll be online till next morning.
Well, let me tell you this.
Wait. I just got to say, out of all that, you totally ignored the best part of the show.
Because I was gonna do the whole show because Lucky's been doing the whole show. I thought that's what we was doing.
Yeah, but you didn't even mention the highlight of the show.
I didn't get a chance to talk about the main event. I was getting there. It's okay. It's okay.
You can get there. Let me just jump right into the live video comments. Our Shant says, "Hey, I don't know about you guys, but we could see the end of Undisputed Era." So that was
I think you're setting this whole thing up for War Games.
Yeah.
War Games.
They ain't in no time soon.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
And he also shout you out to Simon. He said, at least give him, credit that he watched it.
Thank you a little bit. I appreciate it. I do watch it every week, but I wanted to make sure.
Okay, so tell us quickly, how was that main event?
The main event was really good. I mean, first of all, I appreciate Ciampa coming out with I believe that was the Scorpion from Mortal Kombat mask. What were you about to say, Michaels? What were you about to say? Was I supposed to immediately go and talk about the match? Was that?
And then I'll talk about the highlight of the show.
Anyways, so the match was really good. It was obviously hard hitting. Some of the things that I thought was really interesting was Ciampa was just hating that cast. Obviously, it knocked him out quite a few times, but I was actually interested because he kept hitting that darn cast on the announce table over and over and over again. I was thinking in my head, like, that thing is gonna crack, like, for real. But yeah, I mean, it was a very good match. It was highly enjoyable. Obviously, Tommaso Ciampa, beat the shit out of Velveteen Dream. I mean, Velveteen had a little resurgence throughout the match, but Tommaso was on his ass from start to finish, pretty much. So I'm sorry, I must have missed what the highlight of.
What is the highlight of the show, Michaels?
Yeah.
Fucking Shotzi Black's tank getting destroyed, man.
No, man.
That was the best fucking thing I've seen in fucking like 2 weeks, man.
Yep.
She was distraught. I will tell you that.
And
I thought they killed a dog.
He's going to turn a corner, and it's going to be on with her and Candice LeRae. Woo! I can't wait for that. Yep.
Not to mention that she had a good match with Tony Storm on top of it, but that fucking, and you mentioned the Scream guy, but in the end, when she got in the 4x4, Mr. Scream was sitting in the back seat.
Right. Which we'll see at some point. It's going to be India. So
I think there's two different ones. I feel like there's a male and a female Scream person. I don't know. Maybe it was just me that noticed that.
One is Candice LeRae, and the other is Johnny Gargano, dude. That's why it's like that.
But who was the guy that was that was dressed up as the Scream guy with Johnny? I know. Maybe I sound like an idiot.
Ultimately, it's going to be India Hartwell. Ultimately, like once it's all revealed.
Is it India? I thought it was Indy Hartwell.
Indy.
Okay, Indy. But I like India. That sounded good.
Yeah.
Sid City, did you want to add anything on that show?
No, I thought that it was a pretty solid show. I'm just curious as to how many times that we're going to actually see Drake Maverick and Killian Dane versus Everrise.
Yes, it's like the third time. It's like the third
Yeah,
time.
because this is like, part 38 in their 100 match saga, I guess.
Right.
Cameron Grimes and Kushida was the best thing on this show, without question. Cameron Grimes is amazing. And yeah, I still don't know why you're missing the boat on it, Lucky, but you are. So
yeah, you're not gonna get
I'll
to the
have to
moon.
go back to the future to find out why.
Well,
too bad that's Kushida's gimmick.
Yeah, no, I know it is.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's jump right over into SmackDown.
Are
And,
you ready?
And Matt Michaels wants that. So give us the highlights.
Well, let's just start at that beginning of the show with that girl with that sweet, nice.
Excuse me? Watch it there. Be respectful.
I'm talking about Bailey.
No.
So Bailey and Sasha, come on, man. You give me that match every fucking week, man.
Yep.
They just are so entertaining. And of course, it just perpetuates the rivalry that hopefully will eventually lead to them wrestling at WrestleMania. I think that's ultimately their goal. I would hope.
Yep.
But you just can't go wrong with them. Speaking about women, the women's division, putting Ruby on the team with Bianca was a great call.
Yeah, and she looks great with the haircut.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because that's what we're all worried about is her hair.
What are you talking about? I was worried about her hair as well.
But the interesting thing about that is the fact that if you look at the Raw team, which you look at it and you just go, okay, something's got to give with Lana giving away, like we've talked about, or Shayna and Nia just turning on each other or something, right? This is a great opportunity for that SmackDown team to build a solid team for people like Ruby and Bianca to show what they can do. They're going to get individual shots because they're individuals. As Raw, you've already got 2 tag teams in there and then Lana.
Right.
So basically you got 2 tag teams in there. So that's a dig on Lana there. So they're building that in the right direction. It should be interesting to see who fills that out. Will we see any surprise call-ups? If they decide to put an NXT person on the team, I doubt it. But the stuff that Roman and
Jay
and Heyman.
And Heyman, yeah.
Oh man, the whole setup when Kevin and shout out to Kevin Owens for doing his job, starting at the craft service table, because the way he delivered that was perfect for Jay to turn back on him. It just was done, and then his honest response of I was just telling a joke.
Right.
You felt like the sincerity there of, it wasn't the usual wrestling crap.
Yes.
Where it like escalated like within 2 seconds and they're fucking now bashing each other with the food.
Right.
It was a real moment. And now you knew what Jay was going to have to go out there and do once Roman talked to him. Because he had the audacity to do an interview without running it by Roman first. That was fucking brilliant.
There's a chain of command. You come to me. If I'm not available, you go to Paul. I mean, what don't you understand?
Well, you know what's really interesting, and I'm surprised Michaels, because he has a good nose for it, didn't sniff it out. Did you notice that Kayla Braxton was extra aggressive in that interview, though? I mean, she was really tangibly throwing shade.
Well, yeah,
Like big time.
Because that's what makes sense. Why the fuck did he do that? I mean, why would you present it in a different manner? And by the way, you have to convey that she makes him look bad. So then Roman hears about it and then gets pissed at Paul for not doing anything. And you want to talk about someone giving facial reactions that you can fucking give an Oscar to? Holy shit. Paul Heyman's look when he called him out on it was terrified, panic, shitting in your pants.
Yeah.
Amazing. And that gulp and that, yes, sir. You know, it was like, here you have a man who is almost 60 years old, cowering. Brilliant, man. That is fucking storytelling. You know, this is why SmackDown is standing out, is because they're going and they have good storylines and they also have good talent, you know? So it makes it better to watch.
The only thing bad about SmackDown is their theme song.
AC/DC, son. New album this week.
Yep, that's exactly why.
Please take one of those songs and put that on SmackDown as the new theme, please.
They already did.
Did they?
Yeah, that's what Michaels is saying.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Prophet Michaels. Thank you, Prophet Michaels.
No, actually, honestly, amazingly enough, the song is from the Ballbreaker album, which I think it was Ballbreaker. But it came out in 1992. That song.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost a 30-year-old song.
Hey,
I will be dipped in shit. I had no idea. It just goes to show that, you know, music can be timeless, whether it's good or bad.
It was on same album as Thunderstruck.
Yes, one of my all-time favorites.
Razor's Edge. There we go. Razor's Edge. There you go. Great album.
Damn.
So that's what SmackDown had this week for you.
Hey, whoa.
So hold on. Time out. No. Is that how we're supposed to do it? Is that how we're supposed to do it? I'm taking notes. Let me take notes so I do it.
Wait, hold up. You didn't talk about the highlight of the show.
Yeah.
What? I don't know.
How about the fact that Mella is back?
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about the highlight of the show.
Well, don't ask Corey Graves because he apparently has nothing to say.
Carmella attacks Sasha. Huge. You can't let that not go by.
Well, Sasha's not. She gonna snatch that wig.
Have y'all watched a Carmella match?
Hey, I love Carmella, so.
Love how Carmella's body is shaped. You don't love her body of work.
No, you know what? I like her. When she was the champion and all that stuff, I enjoyed her during that time too.
What's her signature move?
There ain't one because she had to have James fucking Ellsworth in her goddamn corner.
Oh, remember she had the submission?
To accidentally win every fucking match.
Michaels, for once, I wish you had caught it and not said something because I was waiting to see what he's gonna say.
Hey, Murphy, baby, Murphy.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Wait. Whoa, hold on. Before you say that, Simon, I want to call this bullshit on you.
Me?
No, King Lucky.
Call it.
Call it.
Hello.
So tired of seeing the Mysterios.
You did say that.
Hey, Golden Historian, hold up. I told you last week that with all this stuff they're adding in with Aaliyah and Buddy Murphy, that it's becoming more entertaining now. So I did say that. And what they did this week with Murphy, causing Otis the match, giving the W to Seth, another layer, baby, another layer. And something's coming. So that was also a big highlight.
The only thing I can say about that whole segment is Aaliyah, Aaliyah reminds me of a West Side Story.
Hey, let's not do that again either.
It don't matter. Y'all all do a lot of things. I just figured,
All right. Let's jump over into New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Tell me you're at least going to pronounce two names.
I will.
Yes.
I love when you do that, man.
But before I get there, let's go over Sin City. I'm just going to mention the two big matches that's been announced for Wrestle Kingdom, which is huge. But go over what happened at Power Struggle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Power Struggle obviously was headlined by Naito versus Evil in a singles match for their double championship, and Naito did defeat Evil. It was a 33-minute long match, and the effort was definitely there for both guys. Dare I say this was probably the best Evil match that I've seen. Evil's not exactly the high work rate kind of a guy, but he definitely brought it. So good match on that end. Jay White actually defeated Kota Ibushi and snatched his Wrestle Kingdom championship match from him.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's going to be Jay White taking on, as of right now, Tetsuya Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. So that's huge.
It is.
Did you just say
massive?
Do they have Snatch on the show? I'll tune in every week.
Yeah. Make that one for me too.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
There you go, New Japan. That's how to raise your ratings.
Absolutely.
Raising something.
Hello. Kenta defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi. So Kenta is the number one contender for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. So that'll be good. We'll see whenever that match happens.
Yeah.
And then you had Kazuchika Okada making the Great Okan pass out. So they gave him the referee stoppage victory, which was kind of not exactly the route that I would go, but at least this match was about 13 minutes. So it wasn't long drawn out as it should not have been. So we're good on that.
Yeah.
Shingo Takagi defeated Minoru Suzuki. So there is a new never open weight champion. And Shingo, dude, this match, these guys beat the shit out of each other. Solid match, as pretty much anybody who knows who Shingo is and who knows Minoru Suzuki. These guys delivered yet again. What's up?
Papa Shingo?
Papa Shango. Close, but no. So yeah, so we'll see how everything transpires with the never open weight championship. And then lastly, and definitely least, Toru Yano held on to his King of Pro Wrestling 2020 championship trophy, defeating Zack Sabre Jr. by countout. And for those of you not familiar, Yano is the epitome of a comedy gimmick wrestler. He barely has a single offensive maneuver, and he actually won by getting locked into a submission and tying Zack Sabre's boots together so that he couldn't get back into the ring. So he won via count out that way.
So he's a smart wrestler.
There you go. So, and nonetheless, the irony of it all is the fact that he is a comedy gimmick wrestler, but he is wielding the 2020 King of Pro Wrestling Championship. So,
wow,
that was Power Struggle.
Yeah, the top two matches that's been announced now for Wrestle Kingdom, as was mentioned on Power Struggle. Again, we have Kazuchika Okada. Okay. And
Don't you
going
talk-
against Will
Bless
Ospreay.
you.
That one you
All right.
can announce, and you can pronounce properly. I'm proud of you.
Yes,
Will.
yes, thank you.
Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay. And then night two, you got Jay White, and he will face Tatsuya Naito.
Ooh.
Okay.
Proud of you.
Madison Rain.
Madison Rain.
And for both the IWGP Heavyweight and the Intercontinental Championship. It's going to be great, right? It's going to happen January 4th and 5th, Tokyo Dome, which they're limiting to 20,000 fans.
So get your tickets now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
20,000.
that dome holds like 75, 80,000. So
right. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, having it at quarter capacity is, I think that's good. Don't need to do very much more than that. And the good thing with how they've handled everything in the pandemic is they've made sure that everything is safe for everybody that enters that building. And it really can't be stated enough.
Yeah. I'm hoping someday to get there.
Oh, definitely, dude.
So
That'll happen.
But are you ready when you get there? Are you ready for a good time?
Oh my goodness.
Good Lord.
You know he's ready for a good time.
So guys, I went ahead and picked up another wrestling show that we haven't talked about forever. I guess I'll add to the list.
ROH.
And that will be ROH because they are filming, and I got a chance to watch the episode for this week. I didn't watch last week's, which I'm gonna talk a little bit about. Are you guys familiar with, I guess, what's titled the Pure Championship? You guys are familiar with Pure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not.
I'm not. So I'm just going to break a little bit down, just kind of what, and then I'll just talk about what happened and who's over it. So the Pure title was created in 2004 with AJ Styles defeating CM Punk in a tournament final to become the first Pure champion. And the title subsequently was held by stars such as Samoa Joe, Joe Lethal, of course, Nigel McGuinness. And in August 2006, then the ROH World Champion Bryan Danielson defeated McGuinness to unify the titles, thus retiring the Pure Championship. Okay, so I guess by popular demand, they brought the Pure title back starting back with ROH. So there are some rules to the Pure and matches, and this is how they work. Every match begins and ends with the Code of Honor handshake. The next one is each wrestler has 3 rope breaks to stop submission holds and pinfalls. After a wrestler exhausts his rope breaks, submission and pin attempts on or under the ropes by his opponents are legal. Next, closed fist punches to the face are not permitted. Only open-handed slaps or chops to the face are allowed. Punches to other parts of the body are permitted, excluding low blows. The first use of a closed fist will get a warning. The second will be a disqualification. The next one is, as in standard ROH matches, there will be a 20 count when a wrestler is on the floor. The second to last one is outside interference will result in automatic termination from the roster for the wrestler that interferes. Amazing, right?
That must have happened to the villain.
And then the last one, once a Pure champion is crowned, the title can change hands via disqualifications and count out. So that's what happened last week as they went through this. And apparently, again, I didn't watch it, but the new ROH Pure champion is Jonathan. I put, what is it, Graham? Isn't it Grisham?
Gresham.
Why don't I have Graham? Okay,
Because
never
it's
mind.
easier to pronounce. It's easier to pronounce.
No, it's Grisham. It's Jonathan Grisham. I don't know why it's got Graham there. Anyway, my bad on that. That threw me off there. So yeah, Jonathan Grisham. He is the ROH Pure champion, and he defeated Tracy Williams for that. So that was pretty interesting because I never knew anything about a pure championship title, and he actually has that. So pretty big for them. Also, what I watch, apparently, without there being a pure sort of title, they can just have pure matches where those rules I gave you are just part of a regular match. And they did have one with a Dak Draper versus Brian Johnson. So and that was pretty good. I think looked like Brian ended up taking that match. The last and televised main event was Brody King versus Dalton Castle. And Brody whooped on that ass.
Now let me ask you a question because I'm really interested now. Those rules, does that only obviously apply to the pure championship?
Yeah.
Man, that would suck. Cause I'm just saying, like, I wish I could apply to other major championships, because those are some strict ass rules.
Yeah.
There are, and it's interesting to watch. Like they have little, like under their names, they have little bars so that if, every time they do a rope break, they remove one of them. So that they have now one less that they can use.
Wow.
I mean, it's pretty intense, but
do they go by record?
they don't go by record.
AEW.
And so next week should be interesting. It looks like there will be a match with Kenny King versus Shane Taylor. So I'm really looking forward to checking that out. So we're going to start talking about I'll start doing, some ROH. I mean, by the way,
But make sure you recap the commercials.
Their facility is really nice. I like it. They pretty much just put four LED screens on each side. So it's not like even the hard cam has an LED screen and you can't really see hard cam. So as the cameras move around, it just looks like it's just, the way it's set up. It's just a nice visual effect all the way around. And on two sides, they actually shows who's actually competing in that match. It would have their face, versus whatever. Then you have the main ramp itself. And then, of course, the side you don't see, when the camera does go on that side on the hard cam, it's just another LED. The studio setup is really awesome. I really enjoy that. And they have their live commentators there as well. And I just mentioned that because they don't for Impact Wrestling for whatever reason. I don't know why Josh and Madison are not there live, but overall ROH was
probably has to do with the way they set up things for the pandemic, because Impact always had them next to the ring, so it probably changed because of the pandemic. Yeah.
But what ROH did was they just moved them where seating is normally is.
No, I'm talking about maybe they can't get to, aren't traveling for whatever reason. So they probably just do the stuff by a green screen or something like that,
Well, I got to be honest. I'm excited. Call me ignorant. Never knew about the Pure Championship. Shame on me. But from what you described, and I'm looking at it now, I guess what? It is on YouTube TV, which I have. So now I have no excuse to not watch it, unlike other shows.
Well, hey, if somebody else, if you guys watch ROH, it'd be good to kind of have, so you don't have to hear me in my Bill Cosby talk.
Wow. That was good. That was good.
So if you're able, and the great thing I like about ROH, as you know, is it's only 1 hour, Yes. So when you get through fast forwarding, you can be done about a half an hour. So I love that. But it was good stuff. I'm glad to see they're back up and going, and I'm going to be checking in and giving you guys some results from that. Nice. So nice. With that is our wrestling talk. Just one side programming note from us. Normally we do our 3 count right after this live, and you will hear that on Tuesday. But we won't have a 3 count this week. We will have one of our interviews, Jared Thumb from SCW Pro interview. That's going to be come on your podcast on Tuesday. So check it out. good interview. I think you're going to learn a few things that you probably didn't know. And the 3 count probably will be back in the following week. So just wanted to give you that programming note. With that, fellas, we're going to.
DJ, DJ, did you just say that you could learn a few things you didn't know?
I'm going to say yes, I said that.
You learned a few things that you didn't know. You can learn a few things you didn't know, right?
I guess I said that, yeah.
Okay. No, because it just hit me. Can you know things you didn't actually learn?
Aha!
It's, that deep thoughtness right there. That's why we keep you around.
I like deep thoughtness.
Deep thought.
That
I
deep
don't agree with
thoughtness.
you. I like my thoughts, my thoughts to be deep in them thighs. I'm just joking, but I'm just saying, deep thoughtness.
Steve knows what I'm talking about.
But yes.
Hey, real talk, Michaels. I need to know what kind of edibles you got, bro, because I need to get me some of those.
Oh,
You like Gandalf the Grey over here, man.
yeah.
But yes, Jarrett, Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, trained by Seth Rollins and Merrick Brave. This Tuesday, the interview will be, live on all your podcast platforms.
Boom.
All right, so start off with your final thoughts, King.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's it.
Okay. Simon Street.
Same thing. Everybody just have a good night. Stay safe out there. And, thank you for supporting the show. Continue.
Sin City.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Special shout outs for the chat. Thank you to Garth, Shant, Ringsiders, and everyone else who was hanging out in there that just didn't feel like talking for whatever reason. And anyway, also special shout out to all of the brave men and women serving our country, foreign and domestic, and especially to our boy, the Storm and Mormon. Thank you. And repsports.com, reppsports.com, and use promo code Vegas at checkout. Save yourself 15%. And if you get 30 spare minutes in your day, go and watch Walter versus Ilya Dragunov from NXT UK this week. The most hard-hitting and most brutal match I have ever seen in my life that did not involve weapons. You're welcome.
You didn't bring up that show, DJ.
I know. I will.
You should start bringing it up, right?
I'm gonna add it.
It'd be like Monday Night Raw.
Seriously, it got the esteemed 5 stars from Uncle Dave.
I'll add it to the list.
It's actually watch that match, dude. Fucking amazing.
Thank you, Michaels, for backing me up on that.
Absolutely.
And Michaels, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. We do it for you.
Facts.
We do it for you. Until then, we see you next week. Peace.